And we start with my memo. And tonight it is about shortage of water in Nairobi and what I frankly consider to be plenty of excuses for that. For weeks now, heavy rains have been pounding different parts of the country, even the perennially dry areas. Of course, we would expect to have plenty of water, right? Well, you are wrong if you thought so, as there is no water in Nairobi. The water authorities have left us to our own devices. According to the Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company, it shut down water supply from Sasumua Dam following a landslide in Karimenu River in the Aberdare Ranges. In short, the explanation is that sections of an aging pipe that supplies water to the city have been washed away in some forest. And so Nairobi residents will have to do without an official source of water for another 2 weeks. Water supply service providers are very gleefully latching on the excuse of landslides, rains, broken pipes and other unforeseen forces of nature to explain the water shortages being experienced. But let us face it, Nairobi water problems predate whatever seismic activities may have taken place recently in some inaccessible part of a forest. On water supply, Nairobi is a mix of the archaic and the erratic, the modern and the unreliable. On the archaic end, we know Kenyans invest in donkeys and carts as a mode of supplying water. Now, this is really an embarrassing walk back in the ages. The donkeys and carts I'm talking about are also older than the events along the Sasumua pipeline. They are a business complete with a profit and loss statement for the owners of the donkeys and the carts. On their end, it is a reliable and regular business because more often than not, water pipes supply more air than they do water here in Nairobi. On the modern and the unreliable, residents who are supposedly on the piped water system have to bear with inconsistent supply patterns that include waiting for water in the wee hours of the night. On an occasional night, some water will come through, but on the other, the tap will be dry, and even yet another, a flooded floor becomes the prize for residents who forgot to close their empty taps. Now, let me just say water supply in Nairobi is a dramatic affair, and I know a lot of residents who find bits of that even comic. In development indices, we are talking of a tragedy. I've never forgotten how, as a school-going child, they promised us clean water for everyone by the year 2000. In fact, in 1974, the government launched the National Water Master Plan with the goal of having drinkable and available water within walking distance of every household by the year 2000. I'm reading this memo 46 years after the pronouncement and 20 years after the deadline to decry a broken promise and an unmet national development goal. To the water services authorities, give landslides a break and do a better job of modernizing the water supply infrastructure in line with the growth trends of Nairobi and in line with global standards. Modern education and technologies have prepared humanity for a world of options, backups, and counter solutions. Room for excuses is growing smaller. Do the water authorities, for example, have water storage plans for Nairobi if, say, a meteorite landed on Sasumua Dam or the bigger source, Dakaini? I miss the logic of a pipeline bursting in the forest translating to the instant disconnection of water in Nairobi. And did they not say Sasumua accounts for only 12% of the water we use in Nairobi? The current situation suggests there is no storage or backup facility for residents of Nairobi. By extension, what this means is a Nairobi resident would as well be drawing water directly from Sasumua Dam with a jerrycan. Or help me here. How do you explain the instant disconnection, the instant drying up of the kitchen tap just because there was a landslide in the forest? So this memo does not excuse it, but comments the water service at least not cite COVID-19 as the cause of the shortages. As you may all know, COVID-19 is currently humanity's biggest excuse. And that is my memo.